Health, perhaps the elixir of life. For eons, humans have preserved physical health for a very long time. We have treated our bodies like temples. And I do believe that we need to break the silence for men's mental health. Now, seeing that we have preserved our physical bodies for a very, very long time, there is one aspect, one important organ that goes overlooked, and it has been for many years. And this organ is not just any unimportant one, it is extremely vital in our functioning. We cannot survive without it, as it is responsible for everything that we do. Can anyone guess what this organ is? If you haven't guessed by now, it's our mind, obviously. Now, it goes to show that mental health has gone overlooked. It's a topic that we haven't even scratched the surface of yet. And there's still so much we have to learn about it. But what makes it so interesting is that we have shown awareness for it. As of 2024, we have opened we've paved a pathway for mental health, showing that it is something that we are going to discuss about. But there is still one aspect that we are overlooking. And this is where my talk comes in, where I'm sharing to you why it is important to break the silence. It's important that men's mental health matters. Now, do not get me wrong. Every single person in this auditorium, all of your healthcare matters, both physical and mental. But what makes men so different? What makes them the subject of this sample? We need to go back. Let's flash back onto how boys are raised. From birth itself, men are subject to traditional norms of masculinity. We are subject to social values on learning behaviors that appear to be manly. Now, this may result in values such as being self reliant, being tough, showing signs of aggression, etc. Now, while these values are admirable, to say the least, they create a daunting barrier for men to at least overcome mental health challenges. It becomes hard to express vulnerability, it becomes hard to ask for help, and it becomes hard to ask for support. Still don't blame me. There was a research conducted by the University of Stanford where they took a small sample and evaluated the percentage of US men with a serious mental health regardless of their age. Now, as research indicates, men don't feel empowered to share that they are suffering with mental health issues. They don't feel comfortable showing that they have mental health issues. Now, this is extremely problematic, ladies and gentlemen, because this is not a world we should aspire to live in. The world that we should aspire to create is a world full of love, understanding, and compassion for those suffering with mental health, because there are many factors that can contribute to mental health disorders, such as stress, anxiety, schizophrenia. The list goes on. And without proper help, we will not be able to combat it. The world that we're living in right now is one that is in shambles due to the lack of attention that we're providing to the mental health community. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to move on to a personal perspective. I'm going to share my battle with mental health. Stress and anxiety was mainly one of them, and it was never easy. It never is. At one point in your life, you may struggle with mental health, and that's not a problem. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But around 3 years ago, this is during the height of COVID-19, take note, I felt my mental health succumbing. I felt changes around my atmosphere. I felt a lack of socialization with my peers and family. I felt alone. And that aggravated it greatly. Stress is this bubble that you can't get out of. It is a constant burden that surrounds you. And if you have or are struggling with mental health, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this was different. Mine was crippling to a point where basic tasks had become such hard things to accomplish. And for now, I am better, but it wasn't easy. It never was. Now, to combat this, I realized that I had to let go of what I had learned. Showing vulnerability and asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. And when I revealed that I needed help, I was met with support with my peers, my family, and everyone else I knew. And that's when it clicked. I realized that I may not be the only one who's struggling with this. There could be millions of others out there who feel the same way I do. And I knew there had to be a solution for this. And I found it. This is Menorah. This is an organization that I had joined last summer, which was dedicated to fighting for men's mental health rights. And let me tell you, what an experience. I am still working with them to this day, and I feel the values that I have learned, the lessons that I have seen, has been absolutely phenomenal. And I'm here to share what I have learned with you. Through joint efforts, we have combated mental health crisis in UAE and international as well. Now, if I can do it, so can you. But the question still remains, ladies and gentlemen, how are we going to be able to combat mental health? The answer here is simple. We need joint efforts from everyone. It is time for a cultural shift. It is time for a change in mindset. We need to understand that showing vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. And we need to understand that we need to overcome social standards. We need to overcome the stigma that has surrounded us for many years to show that we can overcome mental health for both men and women. It is time to dismantle the stereotypes. It is time for a reevaluation of social standards. And it is time to show that it is okay to have a problem and it is all right to reach out for help. I conclude with this statement, ladies and gentlemen. Recall what it means to be human and not what it means to be unbeatable. We are human beings after all. We are vulnerable, and it is all right to ask for help. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to my talk. You've been a wonderful audience. I am grateful. Thank you.